How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. And in this video, we are, of course, continuing on reading through my book series. This is going to be for the Chronicles of Unifor 10, The Seed of Disaster. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out any other of my video books, they are all in a playlist for you guys to find on my channel in case you guys have missed any. Of course, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out Chronicles of Unifor 1 through 9 and Delta Force, I highly encourage you guys to check out those book read-throughs before you guys continue on. Because with the Sea of Disaster, Chronicles of Unifor 11, 12, the Final War Trilogy, and Stacy the Halo War, we're almost at the epic conclusion of my universe of book reading throughs. So make sure you guys check out those books before you guys continue on in this video. If you guys want a copy of this book or any of my past books to read along with me or to read in your own free time, let me know in the comment section. You're going to have to give me your email address. I'll send you a Microsoft Word document via email, and that way you guys can have a copy to read with me or in your own free time if you wish. And yeah, so we're going to be continuing on with Chronicles of Unifor. This, honestly, is going to be a really interesting book. This book, I really got a lot of inspiration from the Chronicles of Narnia, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, because in this book, Unifor and the rest of the Corps, they're going about trying to find 7 of the 10 items that are needed to destroy Nikolai Sith. And some interesting things are going to happen. Some characters are going to die, some characters are going to get married, and the ending of this book leads right into Chronicles of Unifor 11. It ends with Ash, where a lot of people in the Corps, the good army side, don't survive. So, you know, and I wanted to talk about this really quickly. I didn't get to do this in book 8 or 9, but Chronicles of Unifor 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 were not planned. Like I said in my past Unifor books, my plan was to only do the first book, then I ended up doing the second one, then I did the third one, and then I did 4, 5, 6, and then I only planned to do 4 and 5. No one was happy with how I ended Space Mageddon, so I did 6 and 7. Everyone was happy with how 7 ended, but people wanted me, especially a lot of my friends and family, wanted me to explore the Unifor universe a lot more, bring in a new villain that didn't feel recycled like Satan. And so I wanted to explore a lot more planets, creatures, aspects of the Unifor universe, which led me to write 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Also, I wanted to make sure that I ended up, and you'll see this a lot, especially with book 11 and 12, that I wanted Unifor to feel more about the story of Ashbeka. Because if you guys were reading along with me in the Chronicles of Unifor 1 and 2, that's what Unifor started out being. It was the story of Ashbeka, this little young boy, and having all this turmoil and problems in life. And then I kind of shifted gears because I wanted it to start focusing more on new characters in the Unifor universe, and that's what happened with the Universal War when I started introducing characters like myself, my brother, some of my closest friends and family members. And then I wanted to start diving into things about, you know, the Bible and the Book of Power. And then I wanted to start diving into things with Armageddon because I really love the Book of Revelation. So I thought, how can I apply Armageddon and the final days of, you know, Earth and Revelation? How do I incorporate that into a science fiction element, which led into Chronicles Unifor 5, Space Mageddon? And then I thought, you know what? What if Satan came back? Which led to books 6 and 7. And then I thought, you know what? Let's try to mesh everything that has happened, where I started the story with Ashbeka, I introduced new characters, I started dipping into Satan and the Book of Revelation from the Bible, and started doing a little world building. What if I took all 3 of those pillars, put them together, and made 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12? What if I made 5 more books, but I meshed those things together? And that's what led me to write 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And as we've seen with 8 and 9, a lot of things have meshed. With this book, we're going to start seeing those three pillars kind of be torn apart. Chronicles Unit 410, The Sea of Disaster, is a pillar of exploring, gathering items, character things. Book 11 is going to go into a little bit of Ash Becca's story, but it's going to center a little more on other characters that we've grown to know and love and or hate. Then we're going to see their stories conclude. And then with the final duel, the Chronicles Unit 412, it's going to center focus on Ash Becca and the conclusion of his story. And then at the end of that book, we're going to see characters that have survived all 12 books and see their story come to a close, mostly. And then some of those characters that don't have a close, their story arc is going to continue on in the Avengers-like book series, The Final War. So I wanted to talk about that in book 8 or 9. I forgot to do that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that as to why 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 feels so meshed and like there's so many things going on, and that is why. So with that, I'm going to start with the introduction and we'll jump right into the book. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Introduction. The team ventures to Earth 2 in search of more items needed to kill Nikolai. Soon after, the team travels to Core Cloud to realize the planet is about to explode into a black hole. The team also attempts to kill Nikolai on his ship, but a Unit 4 member turns on the core. And, in the midst of all this chaos, love finds its way to 6 individuals in the form of rings. Will this be the end of Unit 4? Find out. Chapter 1. The Sea of 7 Scrolls. I was once just a normal teenager, but then came the Universal War. Time passed on, and the formation of the core and the arm occurred. The Ice War came and ended on Earth 3 with the aid of the black hole. Soon after, the war against Satan came from the pages of the Bible into reality. My brother defeated him, and the thought of universal peace entered all of our minds. It was too good to be true, and the war against evil continued. Nikolai Sith is my prime target, and until he is killed, I will not rest. The question remains of how to kill Nikolai, but I know the answer will come soon, very soon. Location: No Man's Land. A bright light appeared, and the DAAS-44 had disappeared for No Man's Land. Uniform Brittany Lewis, Devon's girlfriend, looked around to see Jesus on the command bridge. "You saved us from that meteor which was the size of Texas," said Douglas. "My father sent a message of your engines failing, and so I came to help you," said Jesus. Jesus, Unit 4, and Brittany exited out of the DAAS-44 and saw the following generals: Chi Rosh, Droid Ace, Hamster Billy, Array, Abby, Baron, and Ultimate. The 7 generals surrounded Unit 4 and asked how the mission was in No Man's Land. After explaining the Pen Greed's destruction, the encounter of the Colbrat worms, the talk with the Fish Corps Piloton, and the meeting with Hogor, Edward, and Susan of the Devil followers called the Galatians, Douglas told General Ultimate that their ship needed desperate repairs. "We'll have some men and droids begin the repairs today, but you 5 have to get some rest for your next mission," said Ultimate to Unit 4 and Brittany. "I have to leave you now. The universe still needs my assistance," said Devon to Brittany. Promise me that you'll return, said Brittany. "I promise, but when this war is over, will you marry me?" said Devon, kneeling down and holding a gold ring in his hands. "I do," replied Brittany. Unit 4 walked away from their ship and went to sleep after a long trip to Kun to battle Nikolai's generals and to No Man's Land to locate the Pen Greed. "General Ace, pick some men and droids to repair this ship," said Ultimate. 9 hours later, Unit 4 awoke and looked outside a window to see their ship completely fixed. Bang! Bang! Unit 4 raced to the front door of their base house, and Devon opened it to see General Ultimate, Jesus, and an unusual man with half of his body white and the other half black. "Who are you?" asked Douglas to the strange man. "It's me, Ashbecca, said the odd-colored man. Why are you different looking? Asked Evan. The black color came from Nikolai's touch, which has spread from my left hand, answered Ash. Will it continue to spread? Asked Dave. I do not know, replied Ash. What's the latest news on Nikolai's movements? Asked Douglas to General Ultimate. Not much. Scouts have learned that Nikolai is remaining close to the moon, said the general. I have something, said Jesus, holding out a scroll with ink written on it. My father gave me this while telling me of your engine failure, said Jesus, passing the scroll to Devon to open. Greetings to all the Corps and Unit 4. I have heard of your chase to retrieve the golden lightsaber from Nikolai's generals, the incidents with the Galatians, and the battle with the supernova spiders on the Pen Greed. Remember that the first scroll I sent told you of 10 items needed to destroy Nikolai's Sith. Then you should understand what this scroll contains. You must travel to Hamster Harbor and venture into the nearby sea to locate 7 scrolls. Do beware that each scroll will be guarded by a force of evil. Good luck and goodbye. The 7 scrolls are on Earth too? Asked Deborah. Yes. General Ultimate, go find Hamster General Billy to come with us to Earth 2. He knows more about Hamster Harbor than anyone, said Douglas. Ashbecca, Jesus, and General Ultimate left Unit 4's base, and within 10 minutes, Unit 4 and General Billy boarded the DAAS-44. Look out the window. It's President Timothy of Earth 2, General Barron of Core Cloud, Ashbecca, and 20 angels boarding a core ship, said Devon to everyone on the DAAS-44's command bridge. I know that they are doing that. They are traveling to Core Cloud to establish another core base, said Douglas. Unit 4 took their seats. General Billy sat on a bench, and the DAAS-44 began to head towards Earth 2. Location, Sector 4, 10 minutes from Earth 2. Douglas, we are about to arrive at Hamster Harbor, said Devon on the DAAS-44's command bridge. General Billy, do you know where the 7 scrolls are actually located? Asked Douglas. Yes, one of them. I have been guarding at my house, answered Billy. Where are the other 6 scrolls? Asked Douglas. They are scattered on 3 islands, which are connected by bridges, replied Billy. Come on already! Where are the islands? Asked Dave, listening in on the conversation. The 4 of you must venture into the nearby sea, named the Sea of 7 Scrolls, replied Billy. Douglas, we have arrived at Earth 2 and I'm hovering towards the harbor, said Evan. Unit 4 looked out of the glass window to see the planet had houses and rubble, the White House and the Pentagon completely colored in white and red stripes, the old house with the 53N OT-4 base, and laser towers without power to defend the planet from an invasion. There's my house, said Billy. Unit 4 looked to see many wooden houses, 3 islands, and the Sea of 7 Scrolls. Landing the DAAS-44, said Devon. 2 minutes later. Unit 4 was loaded up with their Unit 4 was loaded up with their lightsabers, blaster rifles, the 20LC, a 96 RP-30 rocket launcher, and earpieces. Unit 4 and Billy exited out of the ship and entered Billy's house. Where is the scroll? Asked Douglas. Follow me to the kitchen, replied Billy. The 4 humans followed the hamster through a living room with a 3D TV, a spiral staircase to the 2nd floor, past a wooden table, and froze. Billy stretched his hamster hands to the top of a refrigerator and pulled down an average-sized locker box. Billy pulled out of a nearby closet a gold key, inserted the key into the locker box, flipped open the cover, and pulled out a scroll with ink on it. The first scroll, said Deborah. Only 6 more to go, said Dave. This is just the easy one. The other 6 will be more of a challenge, said Billy. Billy handed the scroll to Douglas and was opened to be able to reveal what the scroll said. This is the scroll of flight. You have to locate the other 6 scrolls to be able to unleash their true power. Travel into the Sea of 7 Scrolls to Island 1 to find the next scroll. Each scroll you collect, the location of the next one will be given. Good luck, said Douglas, reading the scroll out loud. Where is Island 1? Asked Devon. Billy reopened the closet that he had to the lockbox, pulled out a piece of paper, laid it flat on the wooden table, and revealed the 3 islands, the bridges, and the docking system between Island 1 and 3, and Hamster Harbor. Let's get down to the dock and head to Island 1, said Douglas, placing the first scroll in his backpack. Unifor made their way to the spiral staircase, turned around, and looked at Billy, which was not coming with them. Is something wrong, Billy? Asked Douglas. No, but this is not my mission. Go and find the other scrolls. I will be waiting for you to return, said Billy. We'll be back soon, said Douglas, leading the team out of the house and towards the dock. Good luck, Unifor, said Billy, out of a window. Devon, start the engine and take us to Island 1, said Douglas. The team boarded a small gas-powered boat. Devon started the engines, and the trip to Island 1 began. The team looked to see Island 1 with a volcano in its center, Island 2 with a creepy-looking mansion, and Island 3 with a terrain like a swamp. Within 10 minutes, the boat settled into the sandy beach of Island 1, and the team prepared to venture into the dense jungle. All weapons, including the 96R P30 and the 20LC, are ready, said Devon. Devon tossed the 20LC to his brother and was turned on by Douglas. Turn off the 20LC. Looks like the island knows why we are here and it's going to lead us to the scroll, said Dave. The team looked to see that the trees had moved and formed a trail through the jungle. Douglas turned off the 20LC and started heading into the jungle. The other members loaded their blaster rifles and followed Douglas, unaware of the upcoming danger. 3 minutes later. Hold up, said Douglas. The team looked to see that the trail had ended, yet it had led them to a wooden square with a scroll inside of a cup of water. This mission is too easy. Dave ran onto the wood square, and suddenly a sword shot out of the square, nearly touching his nose. Dad, stop! This square is a trap. Every movement causes a sword to shoot out and kill anyone that tries to collect the scroll, said Douglas. If I move towards you guys, they'll shoot out. But if I continue to the scroll slowly, I can collect it, said Dave. Dave moved slowly towards the scroll, causing swords to appear everywhere. Within 30 seconds, Dave had reached the scroll, took it out of the cup of water, and looked to see all the swords sinking back into the square. Dave placed his feet on the square, but none of the swords shot out of the square. Dave walked back to the team, opened the scroll, and read it. Scroll of water is yours, but the journey continues to the bridge that connects to Island 2. Trees moved about and formed another trail towards the volcano and the bridge. Dave secured the scroll in Douglas's backpack, and the entire team continued onwards to the third scroll. How much longer do you think it will take to locate the third scroll? Asked Deborah. Not long at all, said Douglas. The team looked to see that the trail had led them to a pyramid with the scroll floating on its top. The ground began to shake. The pyramid moved around to form a staircase to the scroll, and on the left side of the pyramid, a hole opened up. Roar! The team looked to see a yellow fire-breathing dragon walking out of the side of the pyramid. Devon, run to the top of the pyramid and collect the scroll. The three of us will take care of the dragon, said Douglas. Devon began to run up the staircase, and the other team members began blasting at the dragon. The dragon began charging towards Douglas and his parents, causing the members to retreat into a small cave. The dragon charged into the cave hole, but was unable to reach the team members. We can't get out, said Dave. We're all going to die, said Deborah. Douglas looked past the dragon and at Devon to see the 96R P30 on Devon's back. The dragon opened his mouth and fired a stream of fire inside of the cave. The dragon looked into the cave to see no bodies. Hey, dragon, come and get us, said Douglas, with his parents and Devon on top of the pyramid. Douglas had teleported himself and his parents out of the cave. The dragon opened his mouth, spread his wings apart, and headed towards the pyramid's top. Devon, turn that creature into dust, ordered Douglas. The dragon had reached the top of the pyramid and fired a fireball at Unit 4. Zoom! Douglas had teleported the group to the bottom of the pyramid. Devon pulled the trigger on the 96R P30, and within 5 seconds, the missiles impacted the dragon, turning the monster into dust. Zoom! Douglas teleported the team to the pyramid's top, took the scroll from its floating location, and opened it. Travel across the bridge to Island 2 and enter the graveyard. You have collected the Scroll of Fire. Chapter 2. 4 to go. Douglas placed the third scroll into his backpack and turned to the right to see the bridge, a graveyard, and a gigantic mansion. 4 more to go, said Douglas, leading his team across the bridge. The group finished crossing the bridge and looked to see the fourth scroll on the doorsteps of the mansion. A gust of wind rolled through the graveyard. Leaves scattered across the grass of a little... Let's try this again. A gust of wind rolled through the graveyard. Leaves scattered across the grass of the little there was. The graveyard stones remained still in their positions. The team ran across the graveyard and made it to the scroll. Douglas opened it up. Enter the mansion and defeat the one that is frozen. You have collected the Scroll of Stone. Why wasn't the scroll guarded? Asked Evan. The ground began to shake. The wind started to gust like an incoming tornado was inbound. Gravestones began to rattle, and the bones shot out of the ground. What form of evil is this? Asked Dave. How typical. A graveyard full of zombies, said Devin. The team realized the zombies were walking slowly towards them. Get the doors open, yelled Deborah. Douglas shot the lock off of the door with his blast rifle. The team entered the mansion and bolted the door shut. Let's find the scroll and find a different way out of here, said Douglas. Smash! The zombie smashed the glass window by the door, grabbed hold of Dave's throat, and gripped down, preparing to choke him to death. Douglas turned on his green lightsaber, drove it into the zombie's head, and watched as the body collapsed to the ground. We have to move. These zombies will break into this mansion soon, said Devin. Unifor ran up the set of stairs, opened the door, and entered the room. The team realized that they had entered the mansion's kitchen. The team separated into 2 teams and began to stack tables, chairs, and anything else they could find to barricade the door. I hope that will hold them off, said Douglas. Come on, we still have 3 more scrolls to find, said Dave. The group found a door out of the kitchen and walked inside of the dining room. Look, there it is, said Deborah, pointing at a scroll in the middle of the dining table. Watch my back while I collect the 5th scroll, said Douglas, turning on his green lightsaber. Douglas moved to the center of the table and reached for the scroll. Douglas, behind you, yelled Devin, after turning on the golden lightsaber and chopping off someone's head. The team looked to see a ghost covered in ice with a blue lightsaber in his left hand. It's Dr. Ice's ghost, said Douglas. Who? Asked Dave, not knowing who the doctor was. He was the villain during the Ice War, replied Devin. Now he is double dead, said Douglas, grabbing the scroll off of the table and opening it. You have collected the Scroll of Sight. Continue out of this mansion and enter the perimeter. Bang! The team heard the sound of a door collapsing and footsteps slamming the door. Do those zombies ever give up? Asked Dave. Unifor ran out of the dining room, down a spiral staircase to the main level, and froze to see 10 zombies blocking a door to the mansion. Exit. Devin, would you do the honors? Asked Douglas. The zombies grouped together in a bunch and ran towards the team. Go back to the grave, said Devin, pulling the trigger on the 96R P-30. A cloud of dust was formed, and the group ran out of the mansion. I hope that the evil forces guarding the last scrolls aren't as difficult, said Deborah. Sorry, Mom, but it appears evil can grow stronger, said Douglas, pointing at a scroll floating in the middle of a fence perimeter with 4 towers, with each one in a corner, which were covered in rust and weeds. Look at this, said Devin. The team looked to see a wood board mounted onto a metal post with a message. Only one may enter this cage of death. Beware the towers, for they contain turrets that shoot poison barbs at those who enter. Someone has to go in there, said Deborah. I'll go, said Devin. Douglas, get out of there, said Dave. Douglas had teleported inside of the perimeter, grabbed the scroll, and looked to see the turrets aiming poison barbs at him. Zoom! Just before the 40 poison barbs pierced his body, Douglas teleported. Good job, said Deborah. Douglas opened the 6th scroll and read it out loud. You have defeated the trap of the Scroll of Wisdom. but the seventh scroll lies on Island 3. Trees moved about and formed a pathway to a bridge and Island 3. Douglas put the scroll in his backpack and led the way to the bridge. 6 minutes later, the team crossed the bridge, realizing it was Island 3 and was... Nope, that didn't come out right. The team crossed the bridge, realized Island 3 was a swamp, and looked to see the last scroll. The group looked to see a plank of wood on the ground with a message. Once you finish reading this, a creature will appear. The creature cannot be killed unless someone reads the last scroll's message, said Douglas, reading the plank. Rocks began to move. The water started to have ripples. The sound of swamp creatures ceased, and an anaconda, the length of half a football field, appeared out of the water. Devin, you are the fastest runner out of all of us. Read the scroll while we distract the creature, said Douglas. The anaconda charged at Douglas and almost swallowed him. Devin ran as fast as he could, picked up the scroll, and opened it, but was slammed by the anaconda's tail before being able to read the scroll. Dave jumped onto the anaconda and dug his blue lightsaber into its body. You have collected the scroll of time travel. The adventure is over, and the anaconda is no longer immortal. Devin had read the scroll, turning the anaconda mortal. The anaconda flipped Dave off of his body, opened his mouth to swallow Dave, and just before Dave was eaten, kaboom! The anaconda's body was on fire. Douglas teleported, caught his father before impacting the ground, and returned to his mother and brother. Kaboom! The team looked to see Hamster General Billy firing on the anaconda with the DAAS-44. The anaconda was still alive after the impact of the two cannon burst, but was no match when Billy launched a nuclear missile into its mouth. Billy landed the ship on Island 3, allowed Unit 4 to enter, and began a course towards Sector 3. The team watched as Douglas placed the 7 scrolls into a locker inside of the armory, hoping they would remain safe, along with the ruby from the gunship known as the Red Moth. Chapter 3. The Core Cloud Disaster. Hours earlier. Look out of the window! It's President Timothy of Earth 2, General Barron of Core Cloud, Ashbecca, and 20 Angels, said Devin. I know. They are traveling the Core Cloud to establish another base, said Douglas. Present time. Location, 2 hours from Core Cloud. Douglas, we have an incoming message from Yon 4, said Devin. Put it on speakers, ordered Douglas, sitting in his command chair inside of the DAAS-44. Unit 4 and General Billy, this is General Ultimate. Please come in, said the voice over the ship's speakers. We are listening, said Douglas. Did you locate the 7 scrolls? Asked the general. Yes, replied Douglas. Good job, but I'm afraid you can't come home yet. As you remember, I sent a core ship to Core Cloud to establish a new core base. The only problem is that the crew was to meet a human named Amy Long already on the planet and to report in to let me know everything was okay, said the general. They are 1 hour over deadline. They are 1 hour over their deadline, continued the general. We'll head right there and find out what has happened, said Douglas. 2 hours later. Landing the DAAS-44 on a platform, said Devin. Unit 4 grabbed their lightsabers, blaster rifles, a 96 RP-30, a 20 LC, and also tossed Hamster General Billy a rifle. The group exited out of the ship and saw the following. A core ship on another landing platform, clothing on a skeleton with a name tag of President Timothy, 20 angels the same way as Timothy, and no one moving outside, and a building with a door open. I don't know what's going on, but this doesn't look good, said Dave. This looks like Core Cloud has been struck with a disaster, said Deborah. Uniform Billy moved slowly towards the open door and entered. Freeze, said a man, pointing a blast rifle at the group. General Barron, it's us. Unit 4 and Hamster General Billy, said Douglas. Quickly, get inside and talk soft, said Barron, lowering his rifle, rushing the group into the building and bolting the door shut. What is going on? Asked Douglas to General Barron. I'll explain everything once we regroup with Ashbecca and Amy Long, said Barron. Where are they? Asked Douglas. They are in the building across that bridge, said General Barron, after opening a window and pointing at a building with a sign that read, Conference Room for the Corps. How are Timothy and those 20 angels dead? Asked Devon. I promise that everything will be explained as soon as we regroup, said Baron. We'll need to run as fast as the cheetah to not be sucked up by it, said Baron. What will suck us up? Asked Dave. A pterodon break is on Core Cloud, replied Baron. Baron opened the door, allowing Unit 4 and Billy to race out of the building, and followed behind. Go, 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 go! Do not stop until we completely cross the bridge and enter the building, said Baron. Look! It's Ash and a woman, said Deborah, in front of the group, seeing the two humans with the door open to the conference room building. Move it! Yelled Ash. The group was running on the bridge. The group that was running on the bridge looked behind them to see a small cloud of black smoke charging towards them. What is that? Asked Dave to Baron. That, my friend, is the pterodon break, said Baron. The group finished crossing the bridge and looked to see the pterodon break still coming towards them. Unit 4, Billy, Ash, and Amy entered the building while Baron used his blaster rifle to fend off the odd creature. Baron, get inside, yelled Amy. Save yourself, said Baron. Baron pulled the trigger on his rifle, but the weapon was out of ammunition. The pterodon break sucked up General Baron into its smoke-like body and spit out his skeleton and clothes. Amy closed the door to the building just before the creature sucked up Amy also, yet the pterodon break slammed into the door. Who are you, and why haven't you called General Ultimate to inform him of the situation? Asked Douglas to the blonde-haired and blue-eyed woman known as Amy Long. Do not turn on that device, said Ash to Amy. It doesn't matter anymore. That thing knows we are here, said Amy. Amy turned on the television set, clicked to a channel, and pressed a button on the TV to play something. This video will explain everything, said Amy. Unit 4 and Hamster General Billy took a seat and watched the video. While Douglas sat down, he gave a lover's wink to Amy. This was the video. Subject, Odd Creature. Video number, 244. Title, The Pterodon Break. This monster was first sighted on the planet Yon 4 as a peaceful creature. Unfortunately, we were all wrong. Soon we learned that the cause of the planet mainline's transformation, which resulted in Sector 21's black hole, was caused by this black smoke. Years later, we learned that the last of these creatures were being studied on the planet Core Cloud. Within days, my team discovered several devastating secrets about these monsters. I, Dr. Blackmer, soon realized that once it consumed enough of a substance that it could transform into a black hole, completely destroying the planet it once was on. The camera zoomed in on a piece of paper with a message. Only C4 can kill a pterodon break. It can not walk through buildings, walls, and other solid objects. Electricity can trap them. Electricity attracts them. The camera zoomed in on a pterodon break, with electricity going off and the monster escaping. The video went static and Amy shut off the TV. This video was found in Dr. Blackmer's lab, said Ash. It was also filmed one day before Ash and his friends arrived, said Amy. You've still not answered my question about who you are, said Douglas. I am Dr. Blackmer's daughter, replied Amy. We need a plan. We cannot make it to our ship, so we need to trap it and kill it, said Douglas. How can we kill a cloud of black smoke? Asked Deborah. Douglas looked at the TV and remembered the piece of paper in the video. Amy, do you know how many more substances or people the pterodon break has to eat in total before it can turn into a black hole? Asked Douglas. About 23 people, replied Amy. How many has it already sucked up? Asked Douglas. General Barron was the 22nd person to be eaten, asked Amy. I have a plan of how to trap this monster, but we have to go to Dr. Blackmer's lab for it to work properly, said Douglas. Amy, can you take us to the lab? Asked Douglas. Yes, replied Amy. Let's go, said Amy, leading the way out of the building. The group of 6 humans and 1 hamster left the building with the conference room crossed. Try this again. The group of 6 humans and 1 hamster left the building with the conference room, crossed back over the bridge, and entered a building close to the DAAS-44. Once everyone was inside of the building, Dave and Douglas closed all the doors and windows. "Okay, Douglas, what's the plan?" asked Devin. "Simple. We have the tear-down break race inside of the building, turn on all the electrical wiring inside of the walls to trap it, and use a remote to detonate the C4 on the walls," said Douglas. "Sounds easy," said Deborah. "Easy for one who doesn't have to get that thing in here," said Amy. "I'll do it. I'm the fastest runner," said Devin. The plan was made. Uniform Billy scattered the C4 from the group's packs onto the building's interior, while Ash and Amy wired everything to one master button. 10 minutes later. "Charges are set to blow after pressing this red button on this remote," said Douglas. "Once I press this button, it will trap the creature inside, and we can race out and blow it to bits," said Ash. Devin walked out of the lab building and looked to see the tear-down break, looking directly at him. Devin ran back into the building, informed the rest of the group it was coming, and prepared to trap the monster. "Now, Devin," said Douglas. The tear-down break entered the building. Devin activated the trap, and the group ran out of the building towards the DAAS-44. The group froze, turned around, and Douglas pressed the red button on the C4 remote. But nothing happened. "Dad, no!" yelled Douglas. Dave was running towards the building because he knew the remote was not working. Douglas and Amy ran after Dave, but were unable to reach him before he dropped his lightsaber on the ground. Dave entered the building and locked the door. Douglas and Amy reached the door and looked to see through a glass window to see Dave repairing a broken connection. "Dad, get out of there now!" yelled Douglas. "I can't. Someone has to blow this building up by hand," said Dave. "No, Dad, get out of there!" yelled Douglas. "I suggest you leave before this place goes up in flames," said Dave. Amy pulled Douglas away from the door and looked to see tears rolling down his face. "Douglas, wait," said Dave. Douglas turned around to see his dad placing his hand on the glass window. Douglas walked up to his father and placed his right hand up to the window. "I love you, son. Tell your mother and brother that also," said Dave. "I will," said Douglas, picking up the blue lightsaber that once belonged to his father. "I hope you treat Amy with care." "Yes, I know you like her," said Dave. "I will, and I love you," said Douglas. Amy dragged Douglas away, and the two lovebirds raced on board the DAAS-44. Dave turned around to see the tear-down break staring at him. Dave picked up two differently colored wires and connected them. Kaboom! The remaining uniform members, General Billy, Amy, and Ash, looked outside of the ship's window to see the building rubble, and Dave Armstrong was dead. I'm going to end the video here, guys. Wow. And I will see you guys in the next one. Yes, I just killed my dad. Like I said, we're getting close to the epic finale of the Chronicles Unifor series, and, well, not everyone on the good side lives. See you guys in the next video or stream. Bye.